Cyber resilience without borders, strengthening national and enterprise defense in fragmented digital world. That is a mouthful, right? Like, what the F did he assign me for, right? So it's like, okay, no. Challenge accepted, challenge accepted. So, all right, AI, I mean, what the heck? What is exactly the intent of the topic, right? It's a good trick, though. If you're given a very broad presentation, confession, I kind of use AI in reverse. So, a lot of people who use prompt, the complete prompt, right, and ask for the answer. What I do is give it small tidbits. Then I answer back and then contest it. So, at the same token, it develops my thinking, it answers my brain, and found out what they're thinking. So his reply was, the exact intent of this presentation is to deliver strategic wake-up call to the C-suite, moving them from a mindset of the isolated perimeter defense to collective ecosystem resilience. Again, it's a mouthful, right? Nobody wants to hear those abysmal definitions or terms just before lunch. So, wake-up call, that means, all right, got to do a wake-up call. So I said, F this. I'm going to call it wake up and smell the breaches. I can't put that in. Because in my head, it's really hard to memorize all those, that long title. So, for the sake of discussion, it's wake up and smell the breaches. Thank you. So again, I was said, to be successful in your presentation, break it down. Break it down into topic which will dictate specific threefold intents. So my mission this morning is to give you the threefold intent, discuss it to you, and hopefully you'll get something out of it. Number one, to obliterate the illusion of the enterprise perimeter without borders. The perimeter is dead. So I'm very thankful for Gons and other presenters have already told you all morning that the perimeter is dead. Salamat po. Thank you. So that won't take long. So you can read this later. The presentations will be given to you. If you find it hard sleeping at night, or you need something to move your stuff during the morning, it's a good reading. So the first one, go back. Obliterate the illusion of the enterprise perimeter. So tama si Gons. Ang sagot dyan actually is just one word. Zero trust. Right? Thank you again, Gons. So this guy, Jan Kindervag, I swear, when I heard zero trust the first time, I was preaching to it the high heavens. So here's my question today. Nasa na kayo sa zero trust? Zero. I like that. Zero. And then we always say, zero trust is a journey, right? It's a destination. So I understand, yes. But remember, that was 2010, right? And we hardly made a dent in zero trust. I mean, coming from a bank, we made our, what's we call that? ISSP, Information System Security Plan. You have to submit BSP every year. So what's your plan? My plan this year is, first, I will do critical security controls, and then my journey is zero trust. So 2-3 years from now, it's still the same plan, right? Really. Yes. True. So Jan said, essentially, there was the old saying, trust but verify. So he said, that's not it. Never trust and always verify should be the new operational directive. And that is essentially the zero trust strategy. I mean, this guy is really smart. Imagine that year, 2010, he had the foresight to tell the world, you're happy with your perimeter, you're inside your corporate network. I tell you, someday everybody will move out and we want to take computing everywhere. Lo and behold, right? Nobody wants to work in the office anymore, right? Working in the office is mid, right? Mid. Working in a cafe is, lit, right? No cap. So, and then that was before COVID. And then when COVID happened, right, there you go. Be careful what you ask for. Digital transformation, huh? Right. And this is true with some of the guys here I worked with. They were so scared people would not work, and more scared, especially information security people, that we don't have control over the devices of those guys at home, right? We sent laptops, we couriered laptops, we couriered PC. Up to now, some of them have not returned it. Yeah. And because, we knew there were security risks, right? That's why we did that. So, Zero Trust is really the solution to that first one. Very easy. So, right now, actually, I don't know why people doesn't see it. If you have a Zero Trust exchange or network, it's like you elevated your firewall policies to the cloud, right? You don't need VPN, you install VPN clients, besides the fact that it's really, really slow. What else? SD-WANs, right? You need the routings, but you now transfer the security part of it to the cloud, to the network. So imagine how many SD-WAN connections you're going to save. Even the firewalls, you can save the firewalls. You don't need gateways, right? And you don't need to install that darn VPN client to every workstation. So that's where it's going now. And because everything now is cloud native, all your applications are cloud native. Diba? SBC, where we move from AS400 CASA to some cloud-based thing, right? So every application is going to the cloud. So it just makes perfect sense that we also elevate our security controls to the cloud, right? And like what Zero Trust said, there's no difference now being inside. Let's stop thinking about being inside, being outside. Even in our network, your network is like LDR, long distance relationship. You think you're exclusive, but you're really not. You're the only one who's thinking that. So it's time to go over that or get over that. And of course, the heart of Zero Trust is that you employ never trust, always verify in all of these pillars, right? It's like a table that if you don't have the right legs strong enough, it will collapse. So you need to implement never trust, always verify in the identity, device, network, application state. And thank you, Gons, for dating me. But there was a time where, all of these were really just one, like network security. So, but now, I don't know, and we were discussing this when we were about to start. Man, things are really complicated now. Remember when we only have a sales guy and an engineer to do all these things? Now you need a project manager, service delivery manager, customer relationship, something like that. So are we getting, are we overthinking? Or is the people getting dumber? We have a sales engineer to do the technical SE work in the sales, right? Sorry. You know you're old if you reminisce. So remember that. And you're old when I have to have my reminder slide in front of me. So number one, we're through, right? We all agree. The perimeter is 6 feet under. Thank you. Mission accomplished, number one. Number two, elevate cybersecurity to a shared macro responsibility. I hate it when they really use big words. So the intent, as leaders, CXOs, our explicit directive is to bridge the gap between individual corporate interests and national economic security. Wow. That is a big, big ask. Okay, let me do that. So, let me frame it this way. If you're a bank, your bank goes down, especially if you're the red bank, and you have to go to the ATM now because you can't do your electronic transfers. It affects everybody, right? So in a way, each and every one of us in our own, world or our own enterprise of security, indirectly, you're actually equal to national security, right? Especially if you're in the critical infrastructure. Thank you, Marlon. Good luck. So, so that's it, right? The national security angle. So when an institution goes down, there's a what's the right term? Symbiosis. There's a symbiosis of all the other industries, which means that no org is an island, right? Unless your org is an island you want to sink in. Sinks. So the focus is to make CXOs realize that enterprise defense is no longer a solo endeavor. A systemic compromise at a major bank, like I said, or telecom affects all others. So we stated the problem. Let's see if we have solutions. Okay. Solution one to that particular is to do active public-private threat intelligence sharing. That's the beautiful solution to that one. It says, stop treating incidents like an embarrassing relative. We've been there, huwag ka na mahiya. Tell the story. All right? So that's the beauty of it. That's the plain language of it. You have ISOG, right? You have PH cert. You have the government's NCert, right? And also, Steve and I are with Asia ISAC. So, some shameless plug. It's regional, it's Asia. So you can be a member, vendor, anybody can be a member. So it's a Asia-wide information sharing analysis center. Okay, that's the beautiful part. The reality is, it friggin' doesn't work. Steve Cutler, good friend of mine, over for 2 decades downstairs. We've been trying to tell the government, the people, the industry, hey, get together, to share information. Tell me with a straight face. Your Chatham House rules, your collaboration. Freaking doesn't happen. Why? Are you going to trust your government to give your, when they found out something happened to you, they will hit you back with what? Penalties? Correct. Diba? Are you going to share it with the police? Military? Well, they might send you some maleta, might receive some maleta, that's good. But Senate hearings, the worst part is that will you even share it with your own industry? Of course not. It's competitors, right? You know what really works, and this is from experience, Marlon knows this, all the CISOs know this. The best sharing experience, and with these freaking CISOs go together and have a drink. Pare, my ATM got compromised. Oh, pare ako rin eh. Diba? It's this malware. Saan yung area mo? Dun. Oh, kami rin eh. I know it sounds funny, but we're really, really far from that we can trust each other and actually give out, yeah, this happened to me. What's your take? I don't know. Like I said, even though it's really hard, we can't stop trying, right? Maybe there's a facility we can do for anonymous sharing, although again, that's been said and done. I find one model before, way back, again, old days, between the government and the private sector is called ITEC, Information Technology and E-Commerce Council. You know what they did? Malacanang, Office of the President, took care of the back end. I will take meetings, notes, secretaries. So there's 2 chairmanship, public sector, private sector, co-equal. So the public sector guy will take care of the politics behind it. The private sector provides the technology, intelligence, because we're always ahead with that. And it worked. So with that, we were able to churn out the E-Commerce Act, the Anti-Cybercrime Bill, the Data Privacy Act, although, sorry, it took 20 years or 15 years. But hey, that I think should be really revisited. Cross-sector dependency mapping. Let's see what that thing that says. Oh, your supply chain is basically your extended family. Everybody has a partner somewhere, so that's an area you should also be looking at very deeply. having, what do you call this? Non-disclosure agreement, having attestation papers or not, right? In fact, I know in some industries, they actually do, they get those, what do you call that? Security reputational scoring thingies, diba? Then they have to pay, like, okay, Gon's company, see, yeah, correct, see, 1-star ba yan, 5-star ba yan? Have they been, so along with that, plus the documentation works wonders. But there's also one thing, and again, from experience. You check the companies, oh yes, it's financially stable, right? Yes, certified people to do it. But one thing they don't look at is that, do you look at the Department of Labor records, right? Are they treating people right? Are there cases pending against them? Because that's a big red flag for me. Right? You can be the biggest company, but then your people are like that, and that not just protecting the employees, but of course it's a sign that we don't know what the insiders and the people are thinking. Right? So that's one thing. Usually they also publish if it's banned, government accounts. So there's a word caution. Number 3, conduct joint sector tabletop exercises. When you do tabletop exercises, please invite other people. If you're doing your own tabletop exercises within the confines of your office, it's like your wedding practice without the groom or without the wife or without the priest, right? It's not a real practice. You need to add more people in that because if it happens, and it will, it's a matter of when, it's not going to be the same scenario that you practice, right? Either get a vendor or, people in government, your partners, they'll be more than happy to participate in that. So you can test it right there. Let me see if I missed something. Stop testing your crisis management. Okay. Participate multi-organization, public-private simulation. I think NCERT does that every year, and you can participate. I think ISO gives out those notices every year to tell if you can participate. Number 3, to provide a governance blueprint for geopolitical and technical disruption. Thank you, Gons. Geopolitical discussions in a fragmented digital world. So in a nutshell, the world is really messy. That's it. The world's really messy. There's regulations fight each other, countries fight each other, they block each other, the threat actors don't need passports, and then the last bit is that your governance has to fight all of that. Right? So it is what it is. It's a messy world. Sorry, my thought flew away. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it's still a beautiful one. Sorry. Yeah. And if you got that, then congratulations. So the focus is for CXOs or executive level people. That's you guys here. Should be thinking how to maintain operational continuity and data integrity when they cannot rely on uniform global security standards or international legal enforcement. The best protection is always, yes, there's a lot of help. There's government, there's your peers, there's PSR, NSERT, whoever. But the best protection, the best, how do you call that? Insurance is that you have the capacity to do it on your own. Right? It's sad. Like I said, it's kind of contrary to the other tech where it says no organization is an island. But on the other hand, if you need to do it alone, you gotta have at least the minimum resources or people just to survive that onslaught. Okay. So obviously my presentation is technical. All right. The number 3 board level checklist is the verification solution. There you go. So there's a term here that was also mentioned. That's 2 slides ago. It's the blast radius. Yeah. So you do the blast radius audit. How much am I going to be affected if shit hits the fan? I'm sorry if I'm using some cuss words. Paki-delete na lang full. Technical. Paki-delete na lang ulit. So which vendor can take you down, which cloud region can freeze you, which dependency can collapse you, and then you need to answer that. Sorry, there's a thing here it says, if your board can answer that, you're not resilient. You're just lucky. So that's the blast radius audit that you need to take back to your people. Number 3 is the regulatory ring fencing. Red score. Yeah, I think I mentioned this earlier. Yes, if the world fractures tomorrow, what's your plan? Right? God's mentioned this is a great example. You get a ransomware, you have backup, but the backup was also compromised. So, so you've actually backed up the problem at the same time. You have this hang up on backups, right? Yes, sir, backup po siya. Up to kailan? Sir, 2 months, 3 months. Okay. Nag-test ka ba ng restore? Exactly. We back up, but we never tested restoration. And it only gets revisited if, there's an audit that's going to happen. That is the sad reality. Sometimes it's nice to be jobless and out of the corporate world because now I can say anything I want without getting fired. So nothing to. So, to end my presentation, more of like a monologue this morning, we cannot fix international politics or global legal gaps. That's just out of our hands. But we can govern our own systems because that's what we have control of with discipline and intent. Because in a hyper-connected digital economy, no organization stands alone. Your resilience is national resilience. And that's why we emphasize this morning, Chito had emphasized this morning to please talk to each other. Share whatever you can share. Like I said, that's the best, what's the term we use, the technical term we use? It's fine, That's open source, you can copy it. Open source license, type A, so it's fine. Okay, now you lost me. Share. Please, that's the most important thing. I mean, you can do it anonymously, you can sidebar, smokers diplomacy. Marami nangyayari doon sa Yosihan. And that's all I share this morning. Maraming salamat. Thank you very much.
All right, maybe just to wrap up today's session, maybe just one question lang, right? Because we talked about collaboration, a lot of it, right? And sharing and public-private partnerships and what have you. But ultimately, right, what has been the biggest barrier preventing the effective sharing of threat intelligence, and how can we overcome that? Kasi diba, people sort of are very guarded around that.
That's true. I think it's the work. Yes, one. Will and shall. There was an argument before in the E-Commerce Act. There was 2 lawyers arguing it should be will or it should be shall. Anyway, so that word has been mentioned. It's trust, really. We implicitly want to trust people, but I guess in a sense we're trying also to be careful, right? Especially in your corporate. You talk to another bank, you're a bank, unless kadikit mo talaga or you really have close relations with the person, no one will tell their secrets. Someone will tell you that you've got hacked or you've got compromised. In fact, even management will tell you not to tell anybody. That's the truth, man. I mean, that's the truth. No, don't tell that. No, don't say, sir, are we going to report this? No, let's wait. Even though it says report it 12, right? Or that's the hours, 72 hours? 70? You must report 72. No, wait. We can say that, we've not concluded our investigation yet. This is true not just for security, but gaining the trust is really difficult. So not unless we develop some method to share those in my head, it's like, oh, the vendors, we say we have threat intelligence. There's threat intelligence, but the context of threat intelligence, I think I did the same presentation with ISO Group. It's very important. That's one source. But the sharing, get to know each other, be close with each other, develop that mindset of sharing. Sharing is caring. All right. I know, sorry, masyadong mundane yung sagot ko, but really, in all honesty, that's the best way to do it. Unless we have a framework with the government doing it or each other, we just have to go the old-fashioned way, old school way. At least some things never change. So that's actually short answer.
All right, thank you, Evan. And I mean, mundane as it is, it's actually the mundane things we tend to forget, and also the simplest solution sometimes to our problems, right? All right, so with that, thank you very much, and thank you again to all of our speakers.
Thank you, ISO.